This lesson is lesson 1.2, lesson 2. This is on Native American migrations. So, on your guided notes packet, make sure you're following along on lesson 2, Native American migrations, and just filling in any blanks, answering any questions. There is something you need to do on a map today, so just make sure you are following along and completing that as we go. This is a pretty short lesson. All right, let's get started. So here's our success criteria. I will be able to debate which Native American migration theory is strongest. Okay, so let's start out with this. So many scientists and historians, archaeologists, they estimate that Native Americans first came to the Americas around 10,000 BC. Now, again, that is an estimate, and there are people that disagree with that. But that is just kind of a common date that people put when Native Americans first came to the Americas. So, really, what we're asking today is how did they get here? Most scientists believe that humans were first in Africa, and eventually, though, people made it over to the Americas, and that's what we're going to look at. How did they get here? Okay, that's kind of the overarching question, is how did Native Americans get to the Americas? Okay, so there's a couple of theories, and by a couple, I mean three. So the first one, as you can see on here, I don't know if you can see my mouse on the screen, but you see here in this orange arrow, okay, that is the land bridge theory or the land bridge hypothesis. And this shows that they came over here from present day Russia, okay, right here. And this area right here, there's not very far distance from Russia to present day Alaska. And the theory behind this is because it was during the Ice Age, um, much of the water was kind of soaked up and frozen. And so it had exposed land right here, a land bridge. And so people were able to just simply walk across here and then eventually kind of migrate down further into the Americas. So that's the land bridge. Another one is the coastal migration theory, or I usually call this one the Kelp Highway theory. So it's the same thing. And it shows here that they basically came across on boats. There's lots of little islands along the way that they probably stopped at. And there's also a lot of kelp. Kelp is a type of seaweed, and it's very nutritious, and lots of what do you call it? Wildlife is around that area that they could have hunted. And so they followed this kelp highway, stopping at islands, and eventually made it over to the Americas on boats. That's another theory. And finally, a third theory is called the Solutrean theory. And this basically says that they came across on boats from where Europe is today, similar to the route that Columbus takes, as we'll talk about soon, and that they came across on boats over here. Um, some people say, well, that's way too far on those boats. They couldn't have done that. There's not as many islands as there is over on the west side. But some people believe because it was the Ice Age that um, the land was actually much closer together. There was less water, and so they say that it is possible. That's a brief summary of the migrations, of the different theories of how Native Americans got here. You guys get to read in your practice assignment a little bit about each theory, and then you guys will get to decide, which one you think is most probable. So, good luck with that, and let me know if you have any questions.